Hello and welcome to part 20 of the UBIK solution. In this video we're gonna do some preparations of the skeletal mesh so that we can use it with IK logic that we just made. I also want to start off actually with a little addition here. You might remember I mentioned some debug stuff that I wanted to add in. You can see I've added off video some debug, a float, debug x, debug y, and then a float called debug step, which I have defaulted to 15. I just didn't want to spend too much time on this recording it, so I'm just going to do the last one here for the C. So you just do this yourself. So we're gonna, and you can see I made them public. That means I can change them easily during simulate. It's going to be pretty convenient for us. So you just type in to get this event graph here, event node here, increment C, increment C. That will give you this this node that I have here, input action. In case you don't know, they are coming from the definitions that we made in the project settings under the input. These here, those are the ones I talk about, which you can see I've mapped to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so we can tweak things during simulate. So we're just going to copy this stuff here and paste it down here, and then drag in C. Like this, and then replace the C on this and on this. And there we go. Now we have these settings here set. And that means that we can now debug all kinds of stuff here. One more thing I want to add into this here is do a debugPrint. Oops. debugPrint. Print string. Connect this up to each of these, and then do an append. Well, we type in, for the first one, we type in x is, and then let's just continue this over a little bit. Get the x value here. I know you can just connect it straight to this one, so let's just do it. It doesn't matter. So like this, and do the same for the lower part here. Connect it with the Y and this one up. Remember to change this, and then finally do it for the C. So one thing you will notice is that when you hit simulate and try to adjust these values here by pressing 1, 2, 3, it's not working. So if you want to do this, you have to, for example, use a selected viewport, hit play here, and then you can press 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 1, 1. You can see then I'm incrementing X, and now I'm decrementing X. And then I get a readout of the value at the top corner here. And I can also see the values that I get when I check the log here. These values here. Okay, with that out of the way, let's do some Blender stuff here. We navigate into the mannequin folder with the character, and we have the mesh here. and we export this. And we're going to export this to the resources folder. So just dump it here. And I'm going to use Blender 2.81a. So I believe the FBX version to use is FBX 2014. If somebody know if this is right or wrong, leave a comment on the video and correct me if I'm wrong. Notice that I'm not exporting the LOD here because I'm not going to really use this for this example here. So just hit export now, and then we fire up Blender. As you can see, 2.81a. All right, so I'm going to import FBX and navigate to my resources folder, select the SK Mannequin, and don't worry about any of these import settings. Especially don't worry about the armature settings, which well, it will look a little bit funny, but don't worry about it because we're not going to use the bone orientation for this. We're just going to use the hierarchy when we import it again, so it's not going to be a problem. So we just let's for now select the skeleton here or the bones and hit H to hide them. And then we also need to make sure that the root becomes the real root. As you can see, the current root is a null called SK Mannequin. It for some reason appears when you import it into Blender. So select this one and hit Alt P and select Clear and Keep Transformation. Ah, right. I need to make them visible again, and then Alt P. No? Come on, Alt P. There we go. And then you can delete this SK Mannequin node here. Okay, so now we can hide it. So the first thing we're going to do is to take the head and isolate it first. So press Tab to go into edit mode, and then 3 to go into face mode. Or actually maybe just keep it at vertex mode, and press Alt C to go into X-ray mode. And now we're just going to select everything underneath here, maybe a little bit further, so Shift select, and then Alt L to select linked, and then press delete vertices. So that should leave you with almost everything deleted except the head and the neck, as you can see here. So we have a few leftover things out here. Just hit delete, and then we're good to go. So now we have a isolated head. So let's go and export that. Select FBX, our resources folder, and then we are going to name this SK Mannequin head. And you have to click out here and then scroll down a little bit to the armature, and then select deselect add leaf bones, and then export. I believe leaf bones are not being used by Unreal, and again, so if somebody knows, correct me. But as far as I can see, it's not being used. So let's start over again and with a new scene, and then do the repeat this process for the upper body. So import again. Import the mannequin. Select the root here and Alt P and clear and keep transformation. Delete the SK Mannequin node and then hide the root. Select the mesh itself, go into edit mode, and now we just do it the other way around. So we just basically delete all the vertices for the head. Now we have a headless man, and then we're also going to do the same for the lower body here, which we're just going to delete everything like this. Okay, so now we have a pretty okay upper body that we can work with. So let's just export this. Again, remember to deselect the add leaf bones. And there's a setting here up here somewhere. I forget where it is. So you can save this setting if you have to do this a lot of times. And then go back to your folder with the mesh, and then we now import these two meshes that we just created. And we use the same skeleton as I mentioned in the beginning here. We import the skeletal mesh and the mesh itself. And the material should not create materials and no textures. Then just import. And again, there we go. So as you can see, now we have a working head and a working upper body. Oops, upper body, head and upper body. So let's finish this video off with us adding in the head here. So we're gonna select the select the mesh itself. Oops. This is gonna be, instead of the SK mannequin, now we're gonna select the upper body, and then we're gonna, with the mesh selected, we're gonna add another skeletal component. You can see it says skeleton SK mannequin head. That's because I have it selected in the content browser. And now we have another mesh here. I'm just going to rename this, call it head mesh. And you could drive the head position and rotation manually from its own animation blueprint, as you can see up here. But we're not going to do that. We're going to use a master pose mesh. Oops, other way around. So the master pose master bone component is going to be the mesh, and what we want to drive is going to be the target, meaning the head. So connect this up. And you notice I put this in the construction script. You can always also put this in the begin play. It should work equally well. The last thing we want to do is select the head mesh, and then go to details and type in owner, no C, and then compile. So don't forget to save all, because we make quite a few changes now. And then we can do a quick test to see if things are working as they should. So select preview. And let's see. So you can see the head here is where it should be. The body is currently not doing anything, and that is supposed to be that way. So it's just going to sit there. Yep, but that means that we now have access to what we need to just start and create the remaining logic to drive each of the skeletal bones. So yeah, we're gonna start off with that in the next video. So until then, stay tuned and see you in the next. Bye.